We're here with part two of our interview with Professor Edmond W. Davis out of Arkansas. He teaches at a black HBCU there. He's an instructor and he's also an entrepreneur. And he's the founder and creator of the HBCU Wall Street Festival. And that's the annual event that they have down in Arkansas, and it's coming up next month. And I'm going to let Professor Davis speak more to that, and we'll get more details. But anyway, we have our co-host back today, Sergeant Ernest J. Robinson. And, of course, welcome back, Ernest.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So,
I thought you, I really thought you were in Iran. I thought you were in Iran.
No. So in my duties, I provide funeral honors, and so we've had quite a bit over the past few weeks, and these are mostly veterans.
Wow.
So that's kind of taking me away. I just happened to have a day where I did not have to do any today.
Okay.
So my apologies for being away, but that's where
you're serving your country, and I salute you, sir. Thank
Definitely.
you.
Yes.
So let's get on with the show today. First off, as we have the Professor Edmond W. Davis here with us, and he's in the house. And hello, sir. How are you?
Gentlemen, good afternoon where I'm at. Of course, I know we're an hour difference between us, but we're all the same. And so I appreciate this moment right here. This is the times we don't get back. So thank you again, Sergeant Ernest, and also Big Brother Walt. I appreciate you both for having me onto this awesome, fantastic resource. And so, I call it a CPR. When we think about CPRs now, we think about resuscitating people back and all that kind of thing. But this CPR is a career positioning resource. So this career positioning resource can be a benefit to a number of people, especially at HBCUs. And we'll talk more further about that in the future, Lord willing. But definitely, I'm honored to be here on this platform.
Well, we're honored to have you. And from what we read, and we haven't been to any events. I know you've been running that event about 5 years now. Mm-hmm. This will be your sixth one, right?
This is number 5. This is the fifth
Number
one.
5.
Yes.
All right. And you've seen growth over those years, I'm quite sure.
Yes, we've seen exponential growth. Yes, sir.
All right. So tell me about how this would roll out, if I'm using the right term.
Yes.
But I know you have it every year. What date is it again? I got it in my notes.
It's about 24 days from today. Of course, it's going to be on the 17th and the 18th of next month, April 2026. The first day will be at Arkansas Baptist College. And ABC is one of 4 HBCUs in this great state of Arkansas. Of course, you have Arkansas Baptist College, you have Philander Smith University, you have Shorter College, and then, of course, you've got UAPB, the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Those are the 4 HBCUs in what we call the natural state. And we've all been in partnership since day one, back when we were the Arkansas HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest. But now it's the National HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest. So I'm indebted and honored to all these institutions for us to have this collaborative effort going on. And a lot of times, this caveat to the side, it seems like when not just black males, but just when we do things, a lot of times it's always out of competition. This is not competition. This is collaboration. And I think that we have to kind of emphasize, especially in these dark moments now, it's all good for us to be able to complement each other, to work alongside each other. And of course, many years ago, we were forced to, whether it's with Black Wall Street, because we weren't allowed to go use and exchange commerce with our contemporaries who didn't look like us, or HBCUs. We weren't allowed to go to Penn State or LSU back in 1850, or back in some cases 1950. Now we have HBCUs.
1960.
So, 1960, right. So again, these are all knee-jerk reactions. So this is what we've been able to produce. And so, of course, it's for any and everybody. People don't realize that HBCUs, only 75% of students that attend HBCUs look like me, look like you, look like Sergeant Ernest, only 75%. The other 25% are Latinos, are people from United Arab Emirates, are people from Afghanistan, are people from, other European countries, are Africans from Africa, are from the Caribbean, are Caucasian students. We embrace any and everybody. So of course we never been designed with that fuel, that fluid to say, no, you can't come here based off of color, ethnicity, and things of that regard. So that's what makes this a unique experience.
Okay, now I don't know whether we covered this the last time, but what is the goal
The goal
of
is to,
these?
yes, sir. The goal is to expose students. And again, we're talking about HBCU students, but we've had, Sergeant Ernest, we've had Walt students that attend predominantly white institutions, PWIs. If they want to come down, come on, come get some of this good stuff. We're not discriminating against that. And of course, later on in our conversation, I'll tell you one of the reasons why I didn't change the name from National HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest. You know, some people say, well, that's too much. It's too black. Look what look who you're looking at here. So again, God didn't make a mistake when he made me. He didn't make a mistake when he made you. And so, you know, definitely about embracing who I am and who he's designed and who he's called me to be. And that's to be, you know, one of the intricate components to this unique experience, what we call CPR, Career Positioning Resource. But definitely this model, this platform is also a pivot. This platform is a pivot, but it's also something that's designed for people to say, hey, you know, for those who don't want to go to college, you know, you don't have to. There's plenty of successful people that make more money than me that never got a college degree. We have to have that honest conversation because it's true, you know, and my mom and my dad didn't go to college. And so they were, you know, my dad did real well before I was born, kind of hit a rough patch, but got back on his feet before he made his transition. And so, you know, he did all of this without a college education. So this is for people with college education, getting back to the mission and the motive. You know, we want to include people who want to experience success, who went to college, who have that trajectory in place. But it's also, this platform is also designed for those who don't want to go to college, but still want to be on that path to success, that trajectory of acumen to being successful and being someone who's a giver, someone who's giving back. You know, I tell young people, if you're not giving and giving back and serving, what are you doing? You know, it's more than just about making money. We all want to make money. However, what are you doing with that money and how are you giving back to your community? And so that's what this is about, setting students on that line, that trajectory of top tier places of not just of employment, but places to where you can be a partner, to places to where you can go to graduate school, to places to where you can volunteer as a volunteer. You can be in line with an internship, you know, or you can just kind of get out and start working from 12th grade to going to a trade school. The next crop of millionaires are going to be plumbers, HVAC people, electricians. People don't realize that all these houses are being built. You know, AI can't build, they can't actually install these pipes the way the layman's work can do it. And so, of course, we have to have those types of services in place. And so that's where we have the Meta 24 at. And that's another conversation, but that will be involved into our National HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest. Okay, it's about college, graduation. It's about being successful, but that's not the only thing it's about. It's about finishing high school. It's about taking up a trade. It's about learning a skill set. We call it the skills to pay the bills. That's what one of my mentors says, the skills to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, again, a lot of people get college degrees and they got degrees in paperwork, but they don't necessarily have that skill a plumber has. And so that plumber has a skill set that may not necessarily fit the mold to being a college instructor, but could. And so, and welders, again, I want to give a shout out to people who were in the welding profession. I didn't realize until about a year ago how well welders do from an entrepreneurial standpoint. You know, I met an underwater welder, guys. Sergeant Ernest, I met an underwater welder, bro. An underwater welder. Now I could swim, but that's the best it gets for me. I can swim, but underwater welding, that's a unique skill. And so I met somebody that has that skill trait, and I said,
Well,
man,
I'm a certified scuba diver.
Wow, that's
I'm a PADI certified diver since 1989.
Wow.
So
wow.
hey, you know, if I was young enough and I was out of work, I would definitely take them up on the idea of doing some welding down there.
There we go.
You know, if you got a family, you do what you got to do.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but back to you.
I have a question.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned about the different opportunities that are going to be there. How many vendors do you currently have this year, and your target audience, whether high school, colleges, obviously HBCUs. I know it's open and welcome to everybody, but like, how many vendors are currently on board for this April 17th kickoff date? How many schools? What schools? And how are you reaching out to them?
Yes, great question. Thank you, Sergeant. We have right now, I would say around rough 41, between 41 and 44 vendors. Now we're looking for 60. That's the count that we're looking for, 60. That's pretty much our average over the last several years.
Okay.
We've gone as high as to, I think 90 at one point and as low as into the 40s. So we're looking for about that mid range of 60 vendors. And so we're going to have another casting call, if you will, for some of the African-American business owners. Now, again, we don't say no to my Caucasian family, my Native American family. If they want to come board and come set up, they have in the past, Caucasian schools, we welcome that. We embrace them. They're our brothers and sisters as well. So,
do you have any corporate recruiters that attend?
We had
to recruit some of your folks, our
yes,
students?
Yes, from the medical side, we've had a number of medical uniform businesses to come into play. And of course, UMAS, also the Arkansas Children's Hospital. I reached out to them last week. They were a vendor back in 2022 or 2023. But also to the question, in terms of an employer, we have Arkansas State University, which is not an HBCU, but they got the invite that says, sure, we're coming. Come on. If you get a vendor table, we're going to feed you too. And so we did that for them as well. Also,
so the Razorbacks, Arkansas State University, ASU.
Well, the Arkansas State University is the Red Wolves, or the Wolves rather. That's a state, but the Razorbacks, the ones with the great Nolan Richardson, who won the title in '94, that team is the University of Arkansas, the main campus, or I guess what they call the Hill. They call it the Hill, the Razorbacks. Arkansas doesn't have any sports teams, but that's the next best thing that we have here in terms of a sports team. But of course, but now we have some volunteers. I have to give a shout out to Arkansas Baptist College, because the Buffaloes have their football team. I believe the whole defensive unit will come out and volunteer and help put things together by way of chairs and by way of tables, by way of some of the cleaning up and things of that regard. They don't have to, but them volunteering to clean up shows a lot of grit.
Okay.
It shows a lot of camaraderie. It shows a lot of character, and is what I'm trying to say. So we're looking forward to that. But back to Sergeant Ernest's question, we're expecting students from Earl, Arkansas. Now, of course, I'm sure you already know who the mayor of Earl, Arkansas is, Jalen Smith. He's the youngest African-American mayor in the country. He's like 21 or 22. He mobilized. Yes, he said he's going to bring students down from the high school level. So we're looking forward to that. Of course, we also have from Elaine, Arkansas. You know, arguably the biggest atrocity in terms of racial massacres occurred in Elaine, Arkansas back in 1919. Well, guess what? The mayor, who has a relative that was involved in that massacre, that racial slaughter back in the day, she's coming and she's going to invite some of the students from the Elaine, I think it's Marvell Elaine School District. They're going to come down as well. And so that's going to be awesome to see these young people in position, the juniors and the seniors, not just the seniors, but the juniors and the seniors. We want to have them coming as well. And so I spoke to a couple of people out of the Memphis School District area, which is 2 hours to the east off of I-40. So we're looking forward to further communicating with those Memphians down there to see if they can bring at least one school bus of students down to be able to experience this free CPR, if you will. Okay. So again, there's other school districts that we're reaching out to too. Since we have about 24 days, we got a little bit over 3 weeks left to further manufacture what we're doing, because this is a pilot. People don't realize that this has never happened before at an actual HBCU. We had the Arkansas HBCU Career Fest. That was phenomenal. It was a success. But now this is the national one. And getting back to Sergeant Ernest mentioned, we do have a couple of committals from Jackson State University. They're agreed to have their alumni table there. Also, I'm working with Grambling. So that's my alma mater. Shout out to the mighty Grambling State Tiger family. We all know the best HBCU in the world. So again, we want to definitely make sure that they come on out. And so again, we keep it all SWAC, all in the family. We keep a healthy competition. but also collaboration. Yes, but
So
definitely,
you mentioned
we have.
no, please finish.
I was
Finish.
going to say, we have. Okay, we have Lemoyne Owen College. We're invited them to come on down. Lane College, to come on down. Of course, all of Arkansas's HBCUs have always, and I mean always, have been supportive of this, because again, me being a transplant Southerner, I'm from West Philly, born and raised on the playground, is where I did not spend most of my days. But however, I was telling people that, why aren't Arkansas Baptist College and Philander working together? It seems to be this, I don't know, this, you would think schools 3 blocks apart would be able to have some type of synergy going on. I didn't see that my whole time here. I didn't see that, but now we have it, or now we're cultivating it. We're working towards it. I don't know what the past had happened before I was born. I'm not too sure, not too privy to that, but I know what I experienced. And I'm talking to my students, over the years, and they would say, well, we're not invited. We got beef. I'm thinking, you're a freshman. How can you have beef? You're a freshman. You don't know what beef is. Can you, so again, what are you talking about? And so then I talked to somebody who was 10 years older than me at that time. I was maybe 47 and he was 57. He was telling me his mom and dad attended ABC. This is back in the late 60s, early 70s, as college students. And there was animosity back then. So I'm thinking, wow, this is a grandfather clause type of beef or animosity. This shouldn't be the case. Let's open up a new chapter. And so a shout out to my wife, my queen. She was the one that came up with the idea. She said, hey, you should have an all HBCU career fest. I said, you know what? Let's put Black Wall Street to it. Mic drop. And here we are now 5 years later. And so she was the one that kind of started the conversation. And I sold that. Well, no, I didn't sell it. My Holy Father in heaven, God put it on the hearts of all these administrators to say, hey, let's go ahead and take part in this. And so it's been working ever since. The admissions, recruitment, students being in position, so again, we have a lot of work to do in the next 24 days, but I believe our hearts are in the right place. We've have much work to do, but I believe this is a model. This is pretty much a pivot from the mundane, the regular job fairs, take a picture, collect business cards, go about your way, go to KFC. No, this is something where you actually converse. This is something where you actually exchange social capital, to have, for the most part, civil equity. This is a conversation starter to where this could be a model for other colleges, not just HBCUs, but primarily us, because we're so underfunded. We're so what I call MIA, Ernest, and MIA is marginalized, ignored, and avoided. We've been marginalized, we've been ignored, we've been avoided. MIA, from fiscal resources from the federal government. We receive the least, we get it last, and oftentimes a penny and a dollar short. And so, but other schools get billions and millions. But again, we know how that goes from time to time. And so we don't want to make any excuses. We've done the most with the least. No one has done as much as we've done with the little research that we've done. And that's been since the founding of this country 250 years ago and before that. So again, we're used to making, triumphs out of troubles, or calamities out of catastrophes, and making it, into successful entrepreneurial endeavors. And so that's what this is all about, keeping it high vibes, keeping it high positive, letting these young people know, okay, hey, we embrace success. Sometimes success doesn't look like us. Sometimes success doesn't have those bulging pockets. And success is depending on that person, whether it's in a relationship or in the classroom or, with the bank account. Success has different definitions.
I want to go stick with the collaborations and everything else. So I'm a public speaker as well, and I will we can talk offline. I probably love if I can actually participate, whether in workforce development, leadership development, for this particular conference. But are you familiar with the Kings and Queens Conference? The
I
Kings
believe
and Queens
I heard
Conference
of it before.
So Dr.
Dale. Yes.
Dale Williams. Yeah, she's the co-founder of the Kings and Queens Conference that happens every year in Louisiana, usually in New Orleans at one of the HBCUs that are there. Reason why I asked was, but you mentioned about Tennessee, and she's staff faculty at I think Tennessee State. But I did not hear you, like you mentioned, like other national HBCU conferences for the purposes of collaboration, as well
Yes.
as my alma mater, Virginia Union or Virginia State or Hampton or Winston-Salem. And obviously I know it's proximity. And I think that this particular effort has kind of probably has gotten washed over with COVID and because you've had it for the last
Yes.
5-6 years, and so there's participation would have been strained due to the fact of travel restrictions and sicknesses. So now this is a new opportunity now to that initial idea of what this should be or could be, now potentially to being able to come into fruition. Are there efforts to, I guess, to reach out north? Are there any partnerships you have with any airlines to fly in? How to, I guess, we can do upfront to plug for people to be, sponsors or, things of that nature to kind of really grow what
Yes.
it is that you're actually looking to do.
Yes. Thank you for that, Sergeant. Yes. And so,
You can just
in
call me
terms
Ernest.
of,
Just call me Ernest. Yeah.
okay, Ernest. So in terms of sponsorships, yes, there we go. We just recently acquired some sponsorship from Top Golf. Also, we just recently acquired sponsorship from Dave and Buster's. And so again, now the time frame, getting back to the chronology part of it, I've been trying to, raise money back 6 months ago. Last year, 9 months ago, I started to, put positions in place. But, and again, it kind of goes back to the name. A lot of people give a thumbs up, give you a pound, but why would I have to meet with you 3 times or 4 times after submitting you paperwork? You should know what this is all about. You see my path all this time. And so I've realized, Ernest, that everybody's not your tribe. And so, saying that, I'm talking big businesses here, $1 trillion companies. I'm thinking, man, I see this in the news. I see that in the news. But in terms of being here on the streets and me visiting maybe 2 stores here locally, it's been, far and about. And so, but then again, those that are your tribe, like again, yesterday I visited with Top Golf, maybe twice. They had to like Google my name to figure out who I really was. And I'm fine with that. But again, at the same time, and looking past what's bigger than Edmond W. Davis is what this experience is. This is a program. It's an event, yes. However, the impact it is making, what it means, the residual long-term effect it has for the city of Little Rock, for various neighborhoods, for the state of Arkansas, for America. Because getting back to what you said about other HBCUs, I know that I've reached out to Morgan State. They were at one point trying to come down. Something derailed that. I'm not sure what happened. Also, Lincoln University, same thing. We had conversations. And, the people who were the ones picking up the phone were the ones that I conversed with. But I guess a higher up made a decision and said, hey, there's another job fair that we're going to go to. And so even my own alma mater, Grambling, kind of, it was one of those things that like, hey, I'm an alma mater. I'm a graduate rather. And so it shouldn't be any problem with y'all coming on up. But again, there was another career fest that they had went to, I believe in Baton Rouge or somewhere along those lines. And so, but we do have not just the Arkansas HBCUs. We've got Lemoyne Owen College, or we've got Miles College. Miles showed up last year. Jackson State in Mississippi, which, and again, to your point, they're all regional, which is great. It's better to get those, of course, at the last minute, if you will. But those who are the Morgan States, of course, the Virginia Unions, or even Bluefield State College or University, and I guess that's in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Reaching out to them. Right. So, definitely, I want them to know that they're welcome here as well. Of course, Langston University in Oklahoma. I've got a contact in Oklahoma, but of course, Langston hadn't responded yet. So it's a case by case basis. I did
Yep.
have a positive response.
Okay.
Right. I did have a positive response. The college in, man, I got a brain cramp now. Texas Southern. Yeah. Texas Southern University. I believe they're going to be here.
Okay.
So coming out of the Houston area. So definitely. And that's what
TSU.
makes it a national experience. Right. And so,
Yeah.
but definitely, the goal is to reach out to all the HBCUs, in terms of the scale of growth. Walt, we started off in one room to the second floor of a 3-story building, and we were in a cramped spot, but we all fit in there. But now, 5 years later or 4 years later, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So 5 calendar years later, we have a number of different people coming from, I believe my count the last time I checked was 11 or 12 states for a career fest. Now the vision long term, when I get you guys age, not just playing, the vision long term is to have, people here from at least minimum 20 states in 2027. That's the trajectory. That's what I want to do. Of course, the funding needs to be in place. We want to help people help themselves along those lines, but partnership with other organizations that are similar to us. Ernest, we're doing that right now. We've gotten some great communication from other Black Wall Street organizations, and a lot of times due to my own fault, I heavily emphasize with the Black Wall Street organizations because I kind of figured at one point it would be easy to get to the HBCUs. And I find that very challenging right now to be able to reach out because a lot of times, and I'm not throwing none of my HBCU under the bus, but I'm thinking, hey, a lot of times we don't pick up the phone. And that's any school. But now in Arkansas, I visit with the school officials. I visit up. Sometimes I do a pop-up. I know that's not as popular as it was a long time ago, but popping up, sometimes it has its benefits. You're able to speak and maybe wait a little bit. So I've done that. I've been successful along those lines here with the 4 Arkansas HBCUs just popping up. And so I've got some good reactions from that. We had here less than 2 weeks ago, a Arkansas HBCU summit. And this was thrown by U.S. Representative from the state of Arkansas, French Hill, who's running for office. And so, of course, we all know politicians, when it's time to run for office, you have a lot of events. And so, but a lot of people showed up for it. Senators, U.S. Congress people showed up. So I used that to my advantage. And I believe we have a larger feedback of people coming just from the Arkansas HBCU summit. So that wasn't from an HBCU, but it happened, Ernest, at Arkansas Baptist College. And so I'm grateful that we experienced that I was able to speak to Dr. Alma Adams. You all both know Dr. Adams is the Arkansas U.S. Congresswoman. She's been pretty much the face of HBCUs for many years, responsible for raising so much money or having us to receive much money. Of course, we all know Mackenzie Scott. Her birthday's coming up in less than a couple of weeks from now. I invited her to come out to this event. Of course, her team didn't really respond yet. I'm going to send another email to her to say, hey, you're more than welcome to come. She's under the radar. We all know that. She doesn't want a lot of attention. And, but again, I have to recognize somebody who's given billions of dollars to HBCUs in the last 5 years. She's given, and I mentioned this before on the show, she's given, a much, much more than all the other billionaires have given the last 150 years. She's given in the last 6 years, one person.
Wow.
So, right. So she's challenged them to step up in that regard. And again, people like Arthur Blank, the Home Depot owns Atlanta Falcons. He's given, I think, $50 million this week to HBCUs. She's given like $30 billion. But again, we'll take any and all amounts if you can. But hers is unrestricted. Remember, it's unrestricted. And so, she's leading that model along those lines, and she's letting us know we should be responsible with our own funds. And so now if I can get her to, look at what's going on in Arkansas as far as ABC, that'll be the next, platform. But yes, that's what we have going on.
One more follow-up question is, so
yes, sir.
We've talked about the date, where it's going to be. You've talked about the target audiences, what they could expect, sponsorship opportunities, efforts you're doing, how you're reaching out and everything else. For the participant, and I guess also in terms of as far as the vendors go, what is some your success rates, stories, those who have been able to either one gain employment, internships. I think the employment piece is probably the most important piece, unless it's a paid internship, and as well as the feedback from the students who are coming there. I guess from the vendors, and they're saying, "Hey, I'm coming back every year. Thank you for bringing me out, because this was we had a great caliber of students who were willing, able, and ready to work." Like how is that? I know it was a lot, but I kind of wanted you to be able to take your time and kind of peel that onion back.
Yes, that's resonated rather well. We got one student, Greg. Greg is, I believe they're going to get married. Him, and the last time I saw him was at it was 2 years ago. It was 2024. It was at the very first National HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest. And I say that because the first 2 years, it was the Arkansas HBCU Career Fest. And so, of course, the last 2 years it's been a national because of the outreach and of course, the scope and the scale of schools. But this young man, who is a father of, I believe, two, he's got 2 children. He started his own sanitation business. And of course, I'm sure he's still working on his degree plan. He's transferred from schools to finish out his bachelor's degree, but he got his 2-year degree at Arkansas Baptist College. And so I haven't heard from him this year, but the last time I checked on him and his fiance were doing real well. So again, a sanitation business. He's an entrepreneur. Then I have another student. He's in law enforcement. He graduated, I would say, back in 2019. Okay, this was right before COVID hit. Now, we didn't have the National HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest back then. I had, and my team, we had the respondability piece. And respondability talks about showing young people how to respond responsibly to law enforcement and to themselves. Because the number one killer for black males in this country is not police, it's other black males. It's sad, but that's the truth with homicide. And so during those workshops, we talked about having success and how to sustain success in your business. And this young man reached out to me a couple years ago and was talking about how he's been successful. And he said that he heard, because somebody asked us to make sure that we had one of our platforms be as either a Zoom or online. So we had a guy come from out of town. He's a brother of mine, one of my so-called, not frat brothers, but one of my fellowman brothers. He flew into town, Ernest. He's an avid golfer, and he's in a different tax bracket. I'll leave that alone. But he flew into town and played some golf and stopped by the Career Fest. And I'm on stage at a panel discussion segment, and I'm looking in the crowd, and I see one of my brothers. I'm like, wow, he's here. This is great. But he was recording with his phone. He took that, and other people actually watched it. People who follow him, because he's an influencer, they watched it, and they told me they implied what we talked about during that panel segment. This young man, who's a former student, told me via email he implied some of those tips, and then some of those tips landed him a job. That was by default of somebody who was visiting me, who took but it was on YouTube, but took some video footage from last year's experience. Young man watched it. Now here we are. He's benefiting from that exchange that we had on stage. And we had a number of heavy hitters on stage that day, from Dr. Stephen W. Christian, to Dr. Donetta Watson in Kansas City, Kansas. And of course, Dr. Tamara Glover out of UAPB, Terrence Bolden, clean energy business owner, CEO out of Florida, who lived in the United Arab Emirates. He lived in Dubai for a while. So again, what was said on that stage last year is still being resonated today. And so I'm looking forward to that panel discussion here for 2026. And there's another student that just kind of takes me back. But this student pretty much is a podcaster. Okay. He's doing real well with his following. He's a podcaster, and he showed up last year in person to the last Career Fest. I believe he's coming back again because of what he learned, Ernest. But in this case, he's going to serve as one of our MCs. And so coming from what he's learned from not just being a podcaster for several years, doing real well with that, but being an entrepreneur. Of course, he has dual citizenship. His wife and himself, they lived in Paris, France, after he graduated from taking my class many years ago. And we're like about the same age. I think he's 49. And so then he comes back as a podcaster, and then he has these conversations with me and saying how much he's learned from this, how it's helped his business acumen, but also, you know, he's been selected to be one of our MCs for the 5th annual National HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest. So I look at that as being valued. Yes.
That's very interesting.
Oh, yes.
I know you invited us down. You invited the Walton Weekly down, and, you know, I can't go. I have some commitments. But Ernest, what are you thinking? You think you can make it?
I was actually, I initially had said that I would come. I immediately looked at my calendar, and like I said, I'll have a conversation with him. If we can work it out, something like that, or whatever it can be, I'll see if I can probably have the 18th, which is that Saturday, to be able to figure out a way to participate and be a value add to that's Walt's saying, value add.
There's no value. What?
I carry that with me. So value added, I insert that in every conversation I can. But yeah, my opportunity, if I can, I most certainly will try to be there if I can. Yeah.
All right, Edmond, what I need from you,
Yes, sir.
before we finish this segment and move on to some other stuff that we wanted to speak to you about, is, all right, I want to go to this Career Fest. How do I go about doing it? And I live in New York. How does it go?
Sir, you can, of course, we've had people drive from as far away as Atlanta, which is just about an 8-hour drive. I believe New Jersey is about maybe a 22, 23-hour drive in some cases. But definitely, it's a good road trip. Or you can take a flight down. We do have some discounted hotel rooms in place that are 3-star hotels, and they were just built less than 2 years ago here in central Little Rock, Arkansas. And so definitely we still have vendor spots. If you want to put your book or a resource or a product on display, you can do that. Of course, let's say you came to town the day before. Let's say Ernest booked a flight and he came in 2 days before, because Ernest is an author and he wants to be on a radio show. And I said that I would get him a TV spot. I'm a man of my word. I'm going to make sure if I go to a TV spot and Ernest has made it to town, I'm going to bring him with me. I'm going to say, Ernest, here's the address, GPS it, UPS it, but meet me there at 5 a.m. Okay, so we'll be on the air, live radio, live TV broadcast. They'll air it 2 or 3 times. That's what they do in Arkansas before the actual time, you know, we have the event. And so I want us to have the media rounds, those who are flying or driving more than 5 hours into town. I've got a special cohort group for them who want to be on TV or the local Fox News, KRKK, THV11, KATV, the Broadway Joe Morning Show, which we had last week. I do that for them because, again, it's part of the package deal. Okay. So that's the media component. That's part of the brand marketing, and that's also the cross promotion. We like to cross promote different brands. So if Ernest comes and he has his logo, he sent me his logo weeks ago. Okay, so I'm able to promote his logo on all of our literature. So that's part of it as well. Also, Walt, if you come down here, you want to do a podcast or a show like this, we're going to set that up. The second day, preferably, because the first day is a lot of college students and high school students, which y'all know both know that we can't really get a lot of high school students without their parents on a Saturday morning, unless it's Lil Wayne or something there. No. It's going to be hard to kind of pull them to come. Okay. So that's the truth of it all. But also, if Walt comes a day before, you all have a chance to bask in the ambiance of our meet and greet. We have a meet and greet, a traditional meet and greet. Well, I would say non-traditional meet and greet, because this one here is only about 2 hours long. We know folks got to get their vendor table set up. They got to get their rest from traveling. They got to get their rest and get their nails done, or, do things before they wake up early that very next morning and set up. So we have a 2-hour meet and greet. And during that meet and greet, it's social commerce that's being exchanged before the social commerce of the mega day next day. And so all the vendors are being invited, and all the volunteers. We have a litany of volunteers. Most of them are college students. Some of them are business owners, and some are even high school students. So that intergenerational dynamic, to think about that. College students, high school students, business owners, and of course, some faculty as well. But for the most part, most of the volunteers are people who have extra time on their hands. But we do incentivize the football team, the defense, especially guys that defensive line. We get those big brothers, those big young guys, man, look, they benching 300, 400, 500 pounds. So we're going to use all that muscle and all that brain, all that brawn. We're going to use those guys to help move a few things around, whether it's tables, chairs, things of that regard, boxes. We do that all the day before, and it comes before the meet and greet. So that's what the meet and greet's all about, to give people their flowers before we get started, to break that ice, to tell people, hey, you can do this. Have you thought about this? Well, this is who this is. And so a lot of people who have to leave out on Friday night, they go to the meet and greet on Thursday. And so also you have a Podium Promise. Okay. Let's say Ernest comes a whole day late and he wants to come up and show up only on Saturday. He still has the Podium Promise. That Podium Promise gives you a few minutes to go to the national stage podium, because everybody's going to be going live stream. And so the media, God bless their souls, they normally show up. But even if the media is not there, somebody's going to get you hitting that stage, and you'll get a chance to capture that. And let's say you want to be an influencer. You'll have all types of content for your brand on that stage. And so you always want to be ready for that camera. And so that's called the Podium Promise. Every vendor has a Podium Promise. This is the only, and I'll say that slowly, let it marinate. This is the only career fest in the country where every vendor has a chance. Every vendor has a chance to go to the mic and speak. Nowhere else you can do that. Not at a national conference. You got to pay to do that. So again, and it may not be set up to do that, but this one here is engineered socially, is engineered, culturally speaking, is engineered, of course, for your business model, for you to come and to talk about who you are, your business, what you have or what you offer. There's a time frame for it, but you have that. It's called a Podium Promise. So everybody stops in their tracks. We're not eating. We're not conversing. We're listening to Ernest. He's speaking about his business. He's speaking about his speaking prowess. He's speaking about his past experience as a service member. He's speaking about his role as a dad, as a husband, as a son, as a father. He's speaking about these things, how he's gotten to where he's gotten to be successful today. That's what the Podium Promise is all about. Now, some people, guys, have turned it down. I'm shy. I don't want to go up there. No problem. We're not going to force you, but just know it's a part of the deal when you went and got a table. And so that's what that is. And, of course, the VIP pass is pretty much hanging out with me and the other dignitaries that are going to be there. That's what that's all about.
Okay, gotcha. All right, now, your contact information, Now, I know I'm going to embed it in the show notes, but for those people that, want to just hear it, can you say right now, I want to go to that fest, the Wall Street fest. How do I go to your website? How do I order my tickets? Yeah.
Yes. To register, you can go to any Eventbrite page and type in National HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest. Just type that phrase in there. It comes up on Eventbrite for free. It's free to register. Okay. And that's National HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest. You could just type in HBCU Black Wall Street Career Fest. Again, nobody else is doing this. There's about 6,000 a year, but there's a HBCU this, HBCU that. There's Black Wall Street all day. Tulsa, Atlanta, they're doing real well. They're collaborating. But this one here is HBCU and Wall Street. Plus our theme is HBCU plus AI. There's an AI element in here. And so we're the only ones doing that as far as I know.
Words out of my mouth.
Yes, there's an AI component here.
That's one thing. Ernest is smiling. Ernest is smiling because that's a passion for me.
The two
Yes,
things
so
you
we
just
got to have
said,
Ernest in there.
and you just said Top Golf and AI. Those are the two number one things that Walt love.
Yes, yes.
Next to his
There
wife
it
and
is right there.
family, it's golf and AI.
There it is. There it is. So, hey, this is all for you. We're both designed and built for this moment right now, and we have to capitalize. And if the Lord says the same, take advantage of it in a good way. And so definitely, but this experience is different by that virtue. And, of course, only 5 years into it, fifth anniversary, we're still learning a whole lot. We don't know half of what people just assume these things. And I'm like, no, we're still growing. We're still learning. We haven't figured this all out yet. I'm trying to listen to the Holy Spirit, listen to my wife, listen to our team, listen to you guys right here. Y'all are my elders. I'm listening to y'all as well. So definitely, I'm like a sponge. I'm soaking all this in. I'm taking it to the board. I'm letting them know, hey, this might be good. This might not. Let's look at the data. Let's look at the research, best practices. How do you think students feel about this? What's the budget looking like? No, I'm not changing the name, So definitely, there's a lot of people that put some distance between us. And again, that's just not our tribe right now. And I understand that. But definitely, how they can reach out to us.
Before we close off, though.
They can go out and reach out to us at www.hbcubws.org. Again, www.hbcubws.org. Or you can call my assistant. That's 501-773-2039. Again, 501-773-2039. If no one picks up, leave a message. A lot of times it goes to my phone, and I have a chance to read it. If you leave a message or a voicemail, we'll check it, give you a call back. Also, of course, you got the email. Well, no, let me give you the email. I'm sorry. The email is info@hbcubws.com. And again, that's info@hbcubws.com. Those are the primary ways that you can reach out to me, or go to social media, go to Facebook, type in National HBCU. Oh, I'm sorry, .com. Yes. info@hbcubws.com. That's the email address. Yes, sir, Ernest.
All right.
Yes.
All right. One thing I did want to say that you reminded me of, since, the speakers and this type of stuff. When I was at Elizabeth City State, my first year, you have speakers that come down. And this particular speaker was Julian Bond. Y'all guys ever heard of Julian Bond?
I met him before he passed away in 2010. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So he was at Elizabeth City State. He visited, and he had, you guys invite people, well, the colleges still invite prominent people to come and speak to the students. So after he spoke, you have these like get-togethers after the event, where he goes around and everybody's having a little wine or water or whatever. And I got a chance to talk to him. Right? I said, Mr. Bond, I admire you so much. I admire the work that you're doing. I'm 18 years old, right? And this and that, and when I get out of college, I want to be just like you. And he looked at me like, you don't know me. You can't say you're going to be like me, because I may be a bad guy. You don't know that. You want to be like you. And what you want to be is good to your community and be factual. He told me, you can't just assume you're going to be like somebody because you really don't know them. You guys get the point?
Yes, sir.
Did you get the point?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hands down.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So when I speak with people, like a lot of people want and I got this from one of my coaches, so in case he sees this, people want what it looks like, not necessarily what it feels like. Like, you don't know what mountain this person had to climb, how many times they wanted to give up, how tough it was, the cold weather, in layman's terms, the closed doors, the yeses that wound up being no's, like just constant denials, rejections, the times that you wanted to quit and give up, the times you did quit and give up, and you're watching a finished product, but have no idea the amount of pressure that it took to get to that level. So to Mr. Bond's point, to a young Walter Latham was, be the best at where you are and who it is that you're supposed to be. One of my master gunnery sergeants that told me, be the best man that you can be, and everything else will fall into place.
Wow.
Because because at the time I was in the Marine Corps, so if I'm so focused on trying to be the best Marine or the best member of an organization or this or that, then I may lose focus on what's important to actually become what I'm designed to become, what I was put on this earth to become. I definitely see that. I mean, message received, and hopefully that message has been shared with those who may receive this as a blessing as well.
Well, getting back to what Ernest noted, I'm a science fiction guy. When I like to go to the movies, I like to watch something I know cannot happen to me. I like to pay $10 to see something I know it's not going to happen in my life. Take me away from this world for 2 hours. My wife likes to watch these reality movies and shows, and hey, if she likes it, I love it. But I like to watch something I know that's not going to happen to me a lot of times. And so, saying all that, I watch so many action movies, and I look at these cop flicks, and this is no disrespect or slander to anybody in law enforcement, but I've noticed a pattern to where there's a lot of good cops out there that have done great things, not dirty. Great cops have dived into their work, but they end up being divorced because of a sacrifice they made. So good at their job, they're no good at home. And so I would rather be a great husband and a bad police officer in terms of me not catching the bad guys from a legal, moral standpoint, rather than being a great cop and mistreating and neglecting my children or my wife, more importantly. So we have to find that medium. And so getting back to your point, Brother Walt, a lot of people, they want to be like me. I've said it. I think I may have said it this year to somebody. Sometimes we just say it so many times. I forgot. I lost count how many times I say it. But again, I love it and how you made that perspective. And I met Mr. Bond back 16 years ago when he had a book signing here in Little Rock, Arkansas. And so it was an honor to meet him. And he, like other people, I would say that, at one point I would say, I want to be just like you, but I want to be a better version of myself, and I want to be better than that person I was yesterday, that same person, that same dude, that same homeboy, dad, husband, servant. I want to be a better Ed Davis than I was yesterday. I want to be a better person today. And so that just kind of reminds me. So I thank you both for shedding light on that.
You're welcome. And you got to come back and talk to me about some things that we have pending. I mean, after the event, I know you're going to be very busy in the coming days. So we do want to come back, and I want to speak to you specifically about DOE, Department of Education, and AI. And what are y'all guys doing at the HBCU level to prepare these students for a different world? It's going to be a different world out there, guys. I mean, it's coming. All right. So, they're trying to get rid of the worker, the entry-level jobs that people come out of college and they expect to get something, interim, to start, to get in the door. Those jobs are fast disappearing. I'd say by 2030, you may have maybe 10% of what we have now. So I do want to talk to you about that because you're preparing our students for the future. So it's very important that, I want to see your viewpoint on things and how y'all guys are going to adapt to that new environment that's coming rapidly. Okay? So with that, I want to thank everybody. If anybody has anything they want to share before we close the show?
I'm honored to be on the forum again. I want to thank you, Joseph. I want to thank you definitely first and foremost to Sergeant. I want to thank you, and also Mr. Walt. Thank you, Walt, for giving this platform for not just me, but for everybody who's watching, listening, and viewing. And we have to review this and make sure that we get you at these campuses, these HBCU campuses. We have to make sure we get you this platform. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right. It sounds good. I appreciate it. All right, man. Sounds good. All right, people, please like, follow, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week. Thank you. Have a great one.
Thank you so much.